Hello, everyone. Have you ever thought about the endgame for blockchain technology? I think now blockchain technology is like approaching its maturity. The development cycle that started with Bitcoin in 2009 is reaching its end. Those like L2 narratives, which are really big now, they will become the solution for blockchain scalability during our era, actually. And those projects who are able to reach that goal first, I think they will be very successful and they will be in a very advantageous position. So I am Sasha Ivanov. I launched Waves blockchain back in 2016. It's like an OG chain, very old. But now we are moving forward. So what we are doing now, we are turning Waves, which is like an established chain, 8 years old. We are turning it into an ecosystem of interconnected EVM chains. And Waves itself is becoming a layer 0 that connects those chains in a trustless manner. So what is like final solution for current cycle of blockchain tech, actually? Let me maybe describe it in more simple terms. So basically what you have is like a city, and in the city you have major roads, major highways. But sometimes they get congested. So you need to have additional roads and additional bypasses that ease the traffic and actually allow the city to function smoothly. And this analogy actually applies to Bitcoin, to blockchain space. You have like a major robust layer, which is like highways and major streets. And you have those like layer 2 solutions that connect to it. And those layer 2s or like higher layers have to work on the same principles as the main avenues. They have to be properly decentralized as well. And this is a problem that we are facing now with the current layer 2 narrative, actually. And like to emphasize this point, let's, for example, quote Vitalik Buterin, which envisions the blockchain future as being like not like cross-chain, but multi-chain. So what it means? You don't have like disjointed chains connected into one ecosystem. You have an ecosystem that encompasses many chains in a fully trustless way. And it's a big difference here, actually. So, but what are the problems, actually, that we are facing now that don't allow us to reach that goal fast? So the current state of this like L2 narrative, actually, you don't have like full decentralization there. So what you have there is usually one sequencer node on which all those like layers run, and you also don't have like trustless interaction between those chains, because you usually have just centralized bridges that connect those chains. And it's a problem, actually, because you don't have proper decentralization. And that's where what we're building, Units Network, comes into play. How we are trying to resolve this, actually. So we have like a network of validators, Waves validators, and actually they validate not only Waves, but all those chains connected to it. So what happens, actually? They restake their Waves balance in those chains. Basically, their contribution is based on their Waves balance, and the consensus that is established in Waves is exported to those higher chains, making them properly decentralized. And Waves itself is becoming not even layer 1, it's becoming layer 0. And all those like connected chains, which were like layer 2s, they become layer 1s because they are properly decentralized. So this is a setup which basically makes the whole ecosystem trustless. And for example, interconnection between those chains happens on the same terms as consensus in Waze itself. So basically, with the same security guarantees. So interconnection between those chains, ecosystem chains, becomes fully trustless. But you might ask, how can I add a new chain to the ecosystem? Actually, it works in a very simple way. You just make a governance proposal. There is an ecosystem DAO, and your chain gets launched in a few days. It's very easy and simple, and I think it's really important to make the process of launching your own block space extremely simple, because there is so much demand now from RWA projects, from like AI projects, and some solutions might be too sophisticated for them, I think. And actually, I don't know any solution where you can launch your chain in a very simple way. And I think the market really demands it. This is what we're going to do in terms of like usability and user experience, I would say. And you have to offer some more in your ecosystem, some other features. And bridging is very important. Bridging between ecosystem chains in the ecosystem is fully trustless. So any chains that will be launched in the ecosystem can interact with each other in a fully trustless way. But that's not all. We also have external bridges, bridges to external liquidity. They're already implemented, and they have very nice features, such as restaking, like another type of restaking. Maybe you know Blast, you know, this is like a very big restaking project. It comes from there, actually. But we have some additional features, because you can restake not only stable coins or Ethereum, but any assets. And it basically doubles your profits, because you can like use your wrapped tokens in DeFi protocols on units, but at the same time, they're like staked on the original chain. And why we can offer restaking for any assets, because when you rebalance the liquidity between different chains, you have some kind of like cross-chain pools, cross-chain swap pools. And they have fees, and those fees are channeled back to liquidity providers. So it means that you can potentially stake any asset, any volatile token, and get some APY for just holding that token in the bridge, basically. So I think, like as I said at the beginning, we're like experiencing some kind of beginning of finalization of the current cycle of technological development in the blockchain space. And it's very important to create architectures and ecosystems now that will be like self-propelling. They have to have some kind of incentives and mechanisms and architectures, not only in terms of like technical construction, but also in terms of like organizational construction. I mean, they have to be like properly decentralized, DAO-based, and that should ensure that they will be there for decades to come. And this is what we're going to do actually now, with different features that you can see here. I'm not going to be too technical. My goal is to just explain that we are really close to some kind of finalization of current blockchain tech, and basically let's just move together and let's make it together, and I think this can be beautiful. So what we are doing now, the product itself is on the testnet. You can follow the social media, and you can participate in the testnet campaign, which is coming in a few weeks. There's going to be like a testnet campaign, also some kind of like retro drop for liquidity providers. The token itself will launch at the end of summer on major exchanges, obviously. So guys, take a look. I think this is something that can be really interesting for a lot of people, for developers, for people who want to have their own chain. So stay tuned. Thank you very much.